Sisters. The Novel. Part 1. Brita. Chapter 17. Lucky Luke. She was taller than me, no doubt about that. I was staring at her back as she entered the shop, dressed in a long cloak. Where did she get it? Should I do them too? Her hair strawberry blonde, looking natural, lay on her shoulders high above me. I was sitting, of course, but her head was really high above, higher than anybody's whom I'd witnessed from my chair, including Carolina's and yes, Claire's. David wasn't there. His shift, again, commenced at 3 in the afternoon, and the door was attended by Hans, a German guy married to a petite Swiss girl and infamously indifferent towards other women, no matter what they looked like. So he just opened the door for her with a polite smile, passed the girl to Carolina Glutch, and forgot about them both a moment later. Carolina's eyes were shining, as she declared that our in-house tailor was waiting for the young lady. "He'll take your measurements, miss, and we will have any garment that you'll pick from our catalog made especially for you," she said proudly. "And you're not going to pay a penny over the regular price." From my angle, I couldn't compare their heights accurately, but it was obvious that Carolina was shorter. Only when they proceeded to the tailor's desk, I could judge on the difference more or less precisely. It was striking, almost unbelievable. Carolina's head wasn't up to the blonde's armpits. And Carolina stood nearly 7 feet in height, mind you. I was in disarray. There was a person over there in my shop, only a few yards away from me, who was definitely taller than I was. And this person was a woman. I glued to the CCTV monitor, as our part-time tailor, Jacob Bronman, who was close to 60 and stood a proud 6 feet and 2 inches, kissed the customer's hand, took her cloak. She had a light blouse and a dark miniskirt on. I couldn't tell their colors as the monitor was black and white, and gestured her to stand up straight at the measuring chart. The girl turned around with a smile, and I rushed to Mr. Bronman's corner. "Krista, for heaven's sake, you." I hugged her and covered her with kisses. "You're in London, and I'm the last person to know it." "Hello, Sista." She giggled and kissed me in return. You know me, I love surprises. Those around us couldn't understand what was going on. We were speaking Swedish, and they didn't realize yet that we were sisters. "Krista, this is Mr. Bronman and Carolina Glutch," I said in English. "They are the best in the business, so you can rely on them in choosing and adjusting clothes. Mr. Bronman, Carolina, this is my beloved little sister Christina. She lives in Sweden, and I haven't seen her for how long, Krista?" 3 years and a half. "Was it on your wedding?" "Wow, your English did improve a lot. And your height, too." I switched to Swedish again and then back to English. "Now, folks, if you excuse us. There's a patisserie around the corner. I'll buy you a coffee and you'll tell me everything." The British stiff upper lip is renowned all over the world. People in this country don't usually show their emotions. This is one of the reasons for me to like the island so much. Where else I'd be able to take a step outside, without being asked stupid height-related questions. Here, however, they would just stare in disbelief, without making an attempt to secretly compare their heights against mine, or, like in Japan, say, jump up to my chest with that silly expression on their faces. Yet this time round, I wasn't on my own, or even with somebody of more or less acceptable stature like Robin. I was with my sister, and she was younger and incredible. Visibly taller than I was. So, even those ever-discreet Brits, who value privacy as the biggest asset of a human being, even they couldn't resist the temptation of having a closer look at us. And that was not only the looks we were bound to deal with. 2 6-foot-plus guys in smart suits, umbrellas in hand, approached us almost immediately after we'd stepped out of the shop. They tried to behave accordingly to their status of well-paid and well-fed city boys, but the environment was evidently quite different from their natural habitat. The tall men found themselves tall enough only to come up to my and Krista's tits. It looked like they didn't like to feel small next to us girls, just weren't used to being like 2 heads shorter than anybody, yet at the same time were obviously fascinated by the comparison. They managed to gather themselves together pretty soon, and pushing one another, asked, "Oh no, not from you, guys. Just how tall were we?" Having expected the question in advance, I was about to ignore it, but Krista, to my surprise, turned over and smiling coquettishly down to them, observed, "We're tall enough to see way over your heads, boys. And how short are you exactly?" I don't know what men usually expect from this sort of encounter, but responses like that never fail to catch them unaware. We're not short," mumbled one. "We are quite tall, in fact." "Yeah, you could ask our friends whether they think we're short," said another one, who looked a little more confident than his companion. "They'll tell you we're giants." "Then you could ask our friends whether they think we're tall," observed Krista. "They'll say we're dwarfs." "Your friends must be supergiants then," giggled another guy. "And yours must be super tiny." If you're enjoying the story, or even if you're not, please like or dislike it, share, and leave a comment. Positive or negative, they are all welcome. And do visit my page on Patreon, where you'll find new stories as well as the familiar ones. patreon.com/AlexSteak. Thank you. I was stunned by my little sister's behavior. When and where has she learned to act like this? Step aside, guys, you're risking to be smashed. We have a lunch to attend. And she moved forward. Well, that's exactly what we're about to suggest, said the first one hastily. How about having a lunch with us? Not a chance. You're just too short for normal girls like us, sorry. She put an arm around my waist and pulled me forward. The men just froze there, confused. I laughed and wrapped my arm around Krista's shoulders. To do so, I had to raise my arm a little, probably for the first time in my adult life. Luke, the cafe owner, always greets me with a huge smile beneath his splendid, thick, gray mustache, with his arms spread wide apart, high in the air. "Oh, my dearest Madam Kent, I'm so happy to see you again in my unpretentious little eatery." On every hour he bid funnily, and his first words after the greeting would always be, "Mind your precious head, my dearest." A reference to the low doorframe. I always suspected a TWA in this cute pretty Frenchman. As soon as I would show up at his threshold, he'd jump over to me, kiss my hand, and try to hug my hips, unable to reach any higher. This time, however, Luke was so overwhelmed by the presence of two of us together, that he forgot his rituals, and was just standing frozen at the door, with a white towel on his left arm, his ever-bulging eyes literally popping out of their orbits. We stopped at the porch. "Morning, Monsignor Luke." I pronounced his name correctly, Lyack, but he decided to play with it. "It's more than luck," he exclaimed, "it's double luck. It's happiness, Madam Kent. Now I have as a guest not one, but two of the prettiest little ladies in the world." He was standing on the porch, 3 steps above the pavement. "Let the old bald Luke see you better. I bet this beautiful mademoiselle is no one but your sister, am I wrong?" "No, you're not," I smiled. "This is my sister Christina, she lives in Sweden, and she's here for her university vacation." Definitely, I could tell this from the first sight. You look alike, like 2 drops of Blanc Chateau de Montbasiliac. "Oh, pardon, the old Luke talks a little too much, pardon, and voulez-vous follow me to your favorite table? And please, madam, don't bother me with your money today, this time it will be on the house, and I do seriously insist on that." Of course, I wouldn't let him take the whole bill. He's only allowed to indulge us with some wine, that very Chateau de Montbasiliac that he favored. Over the lunch, Krista and I chatted non-stop. She told me about family and friends, the places in our hometown I was missing, about her study, and her new passions. "Hold on," I said, "what about Nick?" "Nick? I kicked him a year ago or so." "Oh, did you? Why?" She shrugged. "He was only interested in height. You should see his emails. Have you grown any taller, my sweet Amazon? How am I missing looking up at your lovely little tits, my dear giraffe? Hope, when I see you next time, I'll be able to walk under your mile-long legs, my little Eiffel Tower, and stuff like this, you know. I just couldn't stand it any longer. And now you've got an intelligent boyfriend instead, who values your personality, and not your appearance. To be honest, I wasn't sure there were a lot of men like this around, especially given Krista's more than impressive looks. Nope, she smiled. At the moment, I don't have anybody, although there are some guys on the campus to choose from. But it'd be unwise to get involved with somebody before my London vacation ends, wouldn't it? Oh, how bright of you, dear. This means I'm now in charge of her personal life, at least to an extent. Not that I'm legally obliged, of course, but I am the big sister, and am in a way responsible for her well-being in this city. All right now, where have you been staying all these days? At a friend's. I hope you're ready to move to our place straight away, aren't you? Why, sure. I've done what I'd planned. You got a surprise of your life when you saw me, haven't you? She giggled. You looked so funny back in the shop. Yeah, I know. By the way, have you paid attention to the shop's name? Unexpectedly for me, Krista loudly clapped her hands, and to the admiration of other cafe-goers, rose slightly from her chair, and hugged me. Thank you, Brita, it's so sweet. I didn't only pay attention, I also photographed the sign, and sent the picture to Mum and friends. Such a wonderful surprise. And the shop itself is great too. Though she smiled somewhat guiltily, my legs seemed to be too long even for Crystal, huh? Don't worry, dear, I smiled back, we'll arrange your jeans in no time. Oh, I remembered, Mr. Bronman hasn't finished measuring you, has he? And now it's getting too late. Okay, we'll do it at home. I'll see you there in a couple of hours, because now I have an important meeting, and it wouldn't be too polite to try and postpone it at such short notice. You take a cab to get your things from a friend's place, okay? I'll call Robin, he's got to be home, so he'll meet you and pay the driver. Here's the address. I wrote it on a napkin and stood up. Luke immediately jumped over and took his favorite position by my side, staring all the way up. Leaving so early, madam? Will you not try my dessert? I'm afraid I'm in a bit of a hurry, Luke, but my sister is staying a little longer, and she will most certainly taste your incomparable cream caramel. I bent my knees and folded in my waist to get down to his level, and gave him a peck on the cheek. Please be kind to Christina, will you? Oh, madam, but of course, madam. Even his mustache looked inspired. I hope to see you soon. Au revoir, madam. Having ducked through the door, to the doubtless delight of the Frenchman, I took a glance back. He was spinning around Krista, like a bee around a flower. And what a flower my sister was. To be continued. If you're enjoying the story, or even if you're not, please like or dislike it, share, and leave a comment. Positive or negative, they are all welcome. And do visit my page on Patreon, where you'll find new stories as well as the familiar ones. Patreon.com/Alex Steak. Thank you.